Hey everybody, welcome to the live stream, Sunday evening edition. Anyway, the stream, like all my other weekend streams, is sponsored by Nomad Internet. Check out nomadinternet.com. Use coupon code CrystalBanner25 for a discount. I do have throat lozenger in my mouth, so if it annoys you to have me kind of talk that way, then just know that I'm going to be crunching and sucking on a throat lozenger so I don't cough. You can look at the pinned comment and join me on the stream if you would like. It is there on the top, the very first comment in the chat on YouTube. It is in blue, I believe. It says Crystal Banner in yellow. Thank you for joining me, Jody and Abraham, for commenting. I appreciate it. 5 people watching. I know several people said they would show up because a Sunday evening was better for them. So hopefully we'll get some new faces in here. We will see. Anyway, how's everyone's weekend been? Sorry if I'm a little bit dark, but I think you can see me just enough. Let me know if the sound is okay. And I will post that as well. So, hi Maria. Good to see you. See, but you know what I mean. Hi, Gwen. Thanks for being a channel partner, Gwen. Appreciate it. Or Gwendolyn. Maybe you prefer the whole name. Let me know if you don't want your name abbreviated. I will respect your wishes. Anywho, the title I put for this one was Why Van Life? It's probably one of the biggest questions I get asked is, why the hell are you living in a van? Especially when I was in a minivan. I think people don't question it as much now because they're like, oh, she's in an RV. Like that's, so much better. I don't get it. But I guess they feel like because there's an actual bathroom and an actual real kitchen that it's not as bad, or you're not homeless per se because it's an RV. I don't get it. I've never felt homeless living this lifestyle. It's brought me an abundance of freedom, even though right now I don't feel very free, but it's okay. I'm getting back to freedom. So I just wanted to share that, how I started, how I found van life, and how I started the journey. Seattle girl wants to know, I didn't stop living van life. All of my current videos are showing me remodeling Mama Willow's Class B RV camper van that she gave me. So no, I have not stopped. Have things been put on hold for a little bit? Yes, I had an accident. My last van got totaled. I was injured. So yes, have things been put on hold a little bit? Yeah, but I haven't stopped anything. I've had everything be put on hold 3 times now in my almost 6 years of doing van life. And that's life. That's a part of life. Sometimes you have to stop, reassess, figure some shit out, and keep moving. Just saying. That's the reality of it all. Anywho, I want to say back in early 2015, I was laid up with an injury. Hi, Auntie Catherine. And hi, Ron, I saw you. Hey, Sojourner's on. Hi. I never see you on the live. Cool. I want to say it was early 2015. I was injured with a work-related injury, which ended up having had surgery. And I was out of the school for months. Pretty much the whole rest of the school year was done. And so I watched a lot of TV. A lot of TV, because I was pretty much in the bed with my left, leg propped up pretty much. I would go out and go to physical therapy, and that's about it. And to the doctor, the orthopedic doctor. So I started watching a lot of HGTV. I have always loved HGTV. There was a point in my life where I had to stop watching HGTV for about 2 years. I had to go cold turkey off of it. I was watching so much that I was not content with my home and life as it was. And so I found that I was holding myself accountable for some reason for not having a home that looked like an HGTV home, even though I really wanted one. So it was like, why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you torturing yourself? So I had to stop watching it for like 2 years. And so anyway, at this time I was back watching HGTV, and they had this tiny home show on, and I just absolutely fell in love. It's actually the first time I saw a Black person with a tiny home, or THOW, tiny home on wheels, THOW. And sorry, I'm getting the text. I should have put do not disturb on my phone because I'm using my phone as the camera. That was Jewel Pearson. If you're not familiar with Jewel Pearson, she is probably at that time the only Black person to ever have been on like a tiny home show that I know of. And she goes by Miss MS Bohemian Soul on social platforms. Go find her, check her out. She is an advocate in the tiny home community, which to me is just part of the minimalist tree, that van life and RV life and camping life and backpacker life and tiny houses on wheels and tiny homes that are stationary. They're all part of the same tree, in my opinion. It's my opinion. They were all part of that minimalist tree, with just different branches on the same tree. But she's an advocate for people of color in the tiny home specifically community, which can only help us van dwellers, because once they get communities and legislation pushed along for tiny homes, we can start coming behind them with the van life community and that kind of thing. Anyway, so I was watching that TV show while laid up with this injury in 2015, and watched all that I could on tiny homes, then jumped over to YouTube and started watching everything I could on tiny homes there. And then YouTube, after about, I don't know, 4 months of watching that, started recommending van dwelling. And I was just like, what the hell is that? So I started deep diving into van dwelling, and probably my 5th or 6th video was a Bob Wells video. And at that time, he was partnered with another YouTuber. He didn't have his own channel, and I'm not mentioning that YouTuber's name. You guys should know that story. If you don't know that story, I will try and go back and stick it in the description down below so you can get more on why I don't mention that person's name. So he was partnered with another gentleman who already had a thriving YouTube channel. And I just started watching all of his videos that I could on that channel. And then something happened in that partnership, and it was dissolved. And then Bob got his own channel. And then I just started watching everything Bob Wells put on his channel, plus the other channels that were popping up. But he was showing people that didn't always have like expensive rigs, which I knew that would be me. Listen, I've never had money, may or may not ever have money. And so I don't think that should stop me from living a life that I want to live, I desire to live. And so I don't let it stop me. That is now the new tagline of my Nomad for Less is, older rig, tiny budget, huge freedom. You can still have it. Doesn't matter what it looks like. It's going to look different for everybody. Every lifestyle is going to look different for everybody, even if you're all living the same lifestyle. Doesn't matter. I've always told people I have been parked next to, I had my $800 minivan, and I was parked next to a $100,000 RV, and we both had the same scenery. It didn't matter. We both ended up in the same spot. Anywho, so I had an SUV. I had a 2000 GMC Jimmy that needed a lot of work. And so I figured out how to make it work in that GMC Jimmy. Like I said, I deep dove into watching all that stuff on YouTube. And I had a second marriage that was failing, and I knew I was going to be leaving him. And I just didn't know where I was going to go, though. And so this was like my ticket to try this out and see if it worked for me. So August 27th of 2015 was my date to leave. So I just started downsizing all my stuff. I had 4 Rubbermaid container bins of things. One was clothing and shoes. One was toiletries and miscellaneous. One was kitchen stuff, and one was like tools and other, needed items. I got a little storage locker, like the little half-size storage locker. Took the seats out of my SUV. Went to Home Depot with some measurements of plywood and 2x4 to make a platform to throw a pad and a sleeping bag on, and just did it. You go back and watch that playlist of the journey, the complete journey from day one, and you will see the SUV in the first several videos, because that's what I was in. It was summer, it was hot. I prefer hot weather, so it wasn't too bad for me. School was not in session, so I had all of August to figure it out. Well, I started at the end of August, but I had done some dry runs sleeping in it before I actually moved out of the rental I was in. And yeah, I just jumped in cold turkey and didn't really have a huge plan. Not saying that's for everybody, but I didn't have a huge plan. Started back at the school, worked for 2 years at the school, all of September of 2015, all the way through July of 2017. And then I decided, you know what, it's time for me to travel. I am never going to travel. I'm going to stay stationary doing this if I don't do it now. And so let's do it. And so that's what I did. And I've been going ever since. Now, there are a couple of questions in the chat that I'm going to go back and answer. I did answer Seattle Girl's question already. Maria wants to know, what's the next thing you're doing in Mona? So Mona is the current rig that I'm in. If you are new to the channel, or if you haven't watched in a while, you just started picking me back up. I had a car accident, not my fault, that totaled Taurus back in October the 11th, I believe it was. And so if you remember Mama Willow, if you go into the YouTube search and do Crystal Banner and Mama Willow, at least one video should pop up. She upgraded to a bigger rig and gave me her Class B camper van, which is Mona. And I have been doing some little budget reno in Mona. My goal is to keep it at $500 or less. So far, I have painted pretty much all of Mona. I got the first 2 coats of the outside of the cabinet trims done for the cabinet. So I'm going to hopefully in the next day or 2 be putting the cabinet door fronts back on. The peanut gallery over here saying tomorrow. It's going to rain all week, so I don't know how much we're going to get done. But anyway, yeah. And then I think the next thing for Mona is probably going to have to be flooring. We pulled the carpet and padding up. I need to go around the edges still. I still haven't done that. I got to go around the edges and get that the edges of the carpet really flush against the cabinetry, because some of that didn't pull off very well. And I do know that someone was on the live. Someone was on the live and joined me. You can jump back on. However, I wanted to finish this story, so don't think I was ignoring you. Someone joined me in the green room. If you want to come back on, you can. I'm not ignoring you. I just want to finish this story, and then you can jump back on. Give me another minute or 2. Anyway, so flooring is next for Mona probably, and then painting the bathroom. I haven't even started painting the bathroom. To me, that wasn't that big of a deal because that's not part of the main living space per se. And there's just that one closet that's got wood on it. So it's okay. It's no big deal. Stibbs Journeys reminding you, don't forget to hit the like, or if you want, the dislike button. And if you're watching the replay, definitely comment on the replay, because I do go back in the comment section and I do answer comments, or at the very least, I like comments. But if there's a question in there, I tend to answer it. If it's a really good question, I might not answer it in the comment section. I might answer it as a Tuesday Q&A question, because I always love good questions. So, is there anyone in the chat currently, out of the 74 people watching, that has a question that they want to ask me that kind of goes along with what today's theme is, which is why van life? As far as me, why van life? Everyone has their own reasons for doing van life. Some people get completely out of debt and go van life. Some people get out of debt while living van life. I haven't been so fortunate as to do that yet. I'm hoping to be able to tackle that and hit that because I know I have a lot of things on my credit that should not be there anymore. And so that's something that I will look into soonish. Lakeisha wants to know, will you visit DC? Listen, I have been needing to go to Northern Virginia and have a visit with friends in Northern Virginia for a long, long, long time. I tell you, when this accident happened, it derailed a lot of things because we were supposed to leave in November. I was supposed to do one more visit up to Northern Virginia to see a couple of friends who I always see when I'm here on the East Coast, and it just has not happened. And I don't know if I'll be able to. The hard and fast date to leave is June 1st, but I'm aiming for May 20th. But yeah, I want to leave like right after my 50th birthday and just hit the road and get going. So we'll see. So many things are out of my control that may or may not happen before I leave. So I'm going to say, yes, I will visit that Northern Virginia area, not necessarily DC, because really there's nowhere for me to camp overnight in DC. But yeah. Sib's Journey says, Bob Wells was your suggestion. Was your suggestion on Yet? Or maybe YouTube? You were my suggestion. I'm not sure I got that. And Judy wants to know how the birthday camping plan's coming. So we are still not sure where we're going to go. I know I was supposed to tell you guys this before March 1st. You were supposed to know, but I think it's going to be the end of March before I figure out where we're going. Unfortunately, my first choice really, I don't even want to talk about it. But hey, Errol is on. Let's pop Errol in. Hi,
Hello.
Hello. Welcome back. You came back for more?
Sure.
This is just a regular live though. Errol was on Freaky Friday with Sultan on Friday, so it was fun. It was interesting.
Yeah, it was.
So Errol, do you RV? Do you camp? Do you have a camper van? Do you do any of that kind of stuff?
No, I'm doing research because I do plan to do a lot of camping.
Okay. Where's your research leading you to? What are you feeling like is probably the best kind of rig for you?
Well, so far, my wife and I are liking Class A's.
Oh, yeah. You're going for the big guns. The big guns, the Class
A.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, she likes a lot of room.
she wants the glam. She wants everything from home, huh?
Pretty much, yeah.
I can't understand it.
Yeah, but I do own a van, though, but it's not for camping.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely understand how some people want all those creature comforts from home. I can understand it, but I can't understand it because I want to be outside so much. To me, which is why I was able to live almost 3 years in a minivan. It was like, no, you don't live in it. People don't realize that. You live out of it. The key term being out. You're out, you're in it, maybe to sleep and get dressed and undressed, and that's about it. You're outside all the time. Or at least for me, I was. And so that's the kind of lifestyle I wanted to live. Mm-hmm. Then I think about the gas mileage and them things. Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
I just want to say hey to everybody in the chat. Does anybody have a question they would like to ask us? Liam says, I'm going to throw a large party for my 50th. Congrats, Liam. All the 1971 babies. We're all turning 50 this year. Woohoo! Mm-hmm. Happy 50th to us. We made it halfway through. Let's hope we get another 50 years in. Yeah. I'm definitely trying to live to be 100. Although the way this world is, maybe I don't want
to. Right.
Kimberly's birthday is the 19th of March. Well, happy early birthday to you. Okay. Kim, who joined us on the Freaky Friday Live, also is saying, I'm doing research on Class B+. I think they are classified as... Yes, there is such a thing as a Class B+. Excuse me. And so they're a little bit bigger than a Class B. They're somewhere between a B and a C. And I do like the smaller Class Cs. However, again, gas mileage is a thing for me. So the way I like to travel, having something that's a gas guzzler, Mona already takes more gas than any other rig I've ever had. So I'm already like calculating in my head how much gas I'm going to be spending to get out to Colorado. And it's going to be close to $1,000. So I'm like, ooh, Lord.
Mm.
Whew, that's a lot. Because in my minivan, I could go cross country for like $400 or $500.
Wow.
So I'm just like, oh Lord, it's so much money. It's so much money. So I'm like doubling the gas money in this rig.
Yes.
So yeah, it's just interesting. But yeah, I guess some of the class A's get like 6 miles to the gallon, 5, 6 miles to the gallon. But that's like the big schoolies too. I don't know if you're familiar with
Right.
schoolies.
Yes.
Whew, I just can't. That's a lot. But my thing is, if you got the money for that, then you probably have the gas money too.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what kind of research have you done? Have you gone to actual like RV lots and looked at some, got in some, and walked around them?
Yes, I went to a few shows up here in Virginia, and
Okay.
I haven't been to none in a while. But so far, most of my search has been online, and I never knew they was on YouTube till I was had to be looking at YouTube and saw one video, and I've been hooked ever since.
Yep, go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. YouTube is definitely a wealth of knowledge and research. If you're looking for anything, you can YouTube it. I've learned how to fix things on I think I fixed something on every single vehicle I've had in van life by watching a YouTube video.
Yeah.
And one thing I couldn't fix on my minivan and figured out on my own, I made a YouTube video on it just in case somebody else was looking for it, you know?
Oh.
So, but yeah. I keep getting text. Sorry guys for that. That's interrupting the feed. I hope it's not. Stardust is a 71 baby in April. Okay, happy early birthday to you. Liam says I have a couple years to go to my 50th. Okay, sorry about that. Stib says gas prices are going up. Yes, indeed, they are. I think they do that because they know people are going to be traveling soon. The weather's getting nice. I totally believe that that's a farce. Mildred's asking, hey, traveler, ever think of visiting Mexico? Okay, interesting question. I was supposed to get my passport for the last 2 years. I never had a passport. So that is definitely on my list of things to do, is to get a passport. Because yes, I would like to go to Mexico and I would like to go to Canada at some point. I would also like to go to Africa. So I have a couple of friends in different parts of Africa that I could go visit. So it's like, okay, I need to get a passport. So that is on my to-do list of things to do. It's like every time I have the money set aside to go, to submit for the passport, something happens. So I have to use that because I do want I want the passport and I want the card. I want both. So
right.
and I think it's not like it's a lot. It's like under $200, but still, when you're like, it's $200.
Right.
And it's always when I have it, okay, I'm going to get my passport. And then, the van needs this. Okay, well, let me spend that $200 on that because that's my house. So I need my house to be functioning.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you'll like Canada. Canada was nice.
Okay. So you've been?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, mostly Toronto.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think I do have one person that I personally know who comes down here for part of the winter in Canada to do some camping in her van. So to avoid some of the cold for a little while. I think she does like 2-3 months at a time. She comes down to Arizona. Yeah. So Regina says, do you let fear of handling a larger rig deter you? I am barely comfortable in my car. How would a Class B feel? My Class B is only just slightly longer than my previous van and slightly taller than my previous van. So it's not much bigger. And it's probably the biggest thing I will be in. I don't really see myself in anything much bigger than that. I have often said I wanted a short schoolie or a shuttle bus. And I'm just thinking, again, gas mileage. And do I really need all that space for just me? Probably not. Probably not. So I think the size rig that I'm in now is probably a good sweet spot for me, at least for now. That's what I'm feeling. So it would be different if it were like a couple and you needed the extra space and you had a second driver. So, I need something that I can just is enough room for me. And I'm pretty minimalist, so I don't really need a lot of space. So for me, Regina, a Class B felt fine. I mean, it wasn't like I spent my life driving bigger vans. I usually always had a small compact car, what we call a POS, you know, kind of car. If you don't know what that is, I'll put it in the comments later. Right. But yeah, just a little clunker, a little beater, a little hoopty, you know, something that's easy and cheap to fix. And that's pretty much, I lived all of my life in Northern Virginia. So I, you know, knew people who would work on cars. I knew side hustle mechanics. I had an uncle who would work on it, you know, so it was like no issue to get it fixed if it broke down. And bus system was there. If it really broke down too much and I couldn't afford it, I would just start catching the bus. So, but I didn't grow up or spend my life driving bigger vans, but they handle just the same as far as I'm concerned. I've never had an issue going from a car to a van, even a full size van. So, I guess, you know, maybe rent a U-Haul van and drive it around for a day. I think it's like $25 to rent a U-Haul van for the day. Maybe, Regina, that could be something you could do. Just get a U-Haul van and drive it around for the day to run your errands, go to the grocery store, all that, and just see how you feel parking it and getting in and out of it and driving it around town. Just rent one for the day and see what it's like. That would be my suggestion.
Mm-hmm. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Even people that want to camp, honestly, even if you want to practice camping in a van, you can rent a U-Haul van for the weekend and go to your local campground, camp in and get a little twin air mattress at Walmart. I think they're like $10. Some blankets, and a bin for food, a little camping, propane camping stove, which is like another maybe $25 with the little green canisters, some bottle of water, camp for the weekend and see how you like it. Another question. Karen says, anyone bring a backup heating system, diesel heater or heater, and a propane heater? Well, you guys know me. I'm very reckless when it came to my heating. I use my propane cooktop, and I have a video on that. And no, it's not safe, but I've been doing it for years and cracked my windows in the van and never had an issue. Just keep it on low. But I do have two 11-pound propane tanks, the bigger ones, because those green ones, they don't last and you can't refill them. And I feel like it's just a waste. They're going to go to the landfill. And I just couldn't keep doing that. Think about all the people living van life that have those green containers and they're just tossing them. So I went ahead and got the 11-pound propane tanks, which I think I found at Walmart for like 40 or $45. I don't know. Arrow won't have that problem. He'll be in a Class A.
Yeah, that's the plan.
he won't have that problem. He won't be flocking for heat. No. Do you plan on spending a lot of time? Are you familiar with what boondocking is, Arrow?
Yes, I am.
Are you guys looking more towards RV park type stuff with no boondocking, or will you do some occasional boondocking?
I want to do both, but of course the missus, she just wants to glamp it all the time. So
right.
That's the plan so far.
Okay. All right. Let me see. Liam says, I'm a trucker, not in van life, but is almost similar lifestyle a little bit. Yeah, except you're earning money while being on the road. So I had someone ask me that question. I did a Tuesday Q&A about that. Somebody said, why don't you just be a trucker? At least you can earn some money. I would not live that lifestyle because contrary to what people think, I don't like driving. And I go from coast to coast. At least I was twice a year, every year for 2 years. I did that coast to coast, back and forth from Arizona to Virginia, from Virginia back to Arizona. I did that 2 years in a row. So 4 times I've crossed the country. Mm-hmm. And I was going to be doing it for, every year. That was my plan, was to come and spend May through September in Virginia, North Carolina area. And then September 1st, leave this area and go back out to Arizona and spend the fall, winter on the West Coast. That was my plan to do indefinitely. But I don't think I'm going to be doing that all the time anymore. Driving, that's just too much. The injury that I sustained in the accident really makes driving even more uncomfortable for me. I already had issues with driving and comfortability, and now it's like even more so. So I'm probably not going to keep that up for the long haul. So being a trucker would not work for me. You're like on someone else's schedule. They need something delivered at a certain time. And I don't like driving like that. I do leisurely driving. I don't do more than like 300 miles a day. So I would probably lose my trucker job. But I have been in someone's truck and they are quite comfortable if you are a minimalist, and I could see the allure to earning good money on the road, because you could definitely earn $3,000 or more on the road a month. And so it definitely has that appeal to earning the money and not really spending, especially if that's your only home. So yeah, I could see the appeal to that. I just know I can't do it. Anything you want to add to this convo, Earl, before we wrap it up?
No, I'm just late getting to the party.
I appreciate you jumping on. I had somebody else jump on, but I was in the middle of telling the story, and so they did not jump on. I apologize to who that was. I didn't even remember the name because I didn't see the name. I just saw that somebody was waiting. So if you are watching this as a replay, or if you're still in the live, I apologize for not adding you quickly to the chat, but I was right in the middle of telling the story. So I wanted to get it out. Don't ever let that deter you from jumping on in the future. I appreciate you jumping on. Thank you, Earl, for jumping on. I'm going to answer this one last question, and then we're going to wrap this up. And the question is something I always get asked, especially when I was in the minivan, which is, how important is being able to stand up in a vehicle? For me, it is not important at all. I know a lot of people cannot stand not being able to stand in their rig. For me, it wasn't an issue. Again, gas mileage was more important for me. Traveling as much as I wanted because my gas was cheap was more important for me, which is why I did almost 3 years in a minivan. It was enough space for me. I had a very, very comfortable life living in my minivan. Definitely go back and watch those videos. The setup in that van changed numerous times to get even more and more comfortable and more minimal. But standing is not an issue for me. Again, I slept in it, I got dressed in it, and that's it. You go outside after that. You want to stretch, go outside. You want to stand up, go outside. It is what it is. So to me, it's not important. I'm sure for Errol and his wife, it's very important. But I mean, for me, it was not an issue. I didn't have my first van that I could stand up in until Taurus, which was June of 2019. So yeah, and it wasn't that big of a deal. I know some people are just jumping on. You guys were a little late. I am so sorry, but I have to be mindful of the people that are going to be watching this replay later and not make it too long, because they are doing me a solid by watching it and giving me the view. So I don't want to be boring them to death with an extra long live to watch. It's not as fun when you're not on the live. So I appreciate that. I hope everyone has a really, really good night. I hope that whatever you're doing, you are enjoying it. And be good to yourself, be kind to others, and all that jazz. Thank you, Errol, for joining me again. Look for tomorrow's short. And don't forget, Nomad Internet, where is it? It's on the other side. It's on Errol's side.
Yeah, my side.
It's over there. See you guys later. Bye.